Hello, everybody. I wonder if everyone can hear me. I would say good morning. However, it is actually past midnight where I live. And do mind that I have tested this stream and that I may be 20 to 30 seconds behind, so my responses may be quite slow. I am seeing a lot of hellos. Hello. Hello, everyone. Now, just as a quick question, how are the sound levels? I've always had problems with that when it comes to live streams, and I was just wondering if you can hear me clearly and if the music, I believe, is at a right level. Let me know. I just spotted a few questions. No, I have not watched Diabolic Lovers, and I appreciate that you do love my voice. Thank you. I will be getting enough sleep. Don't worry about that. Is it really that silent? I'm not that loud enough, am I? So I'm just wondering, is it that my voice is silent? Or if it's the music? Please let me know. I can change the levels just a little. You're happy you woke up to this. Is this a little better for my voice? I do actually speak very soft-spoken when I'm reading, so perhaps I believe, is this the right level for a good voice? Oh, the audio is silent. Whoop, I am just deciding on the source levels, just to make sure. Yes, I do need sleep, but I just felt like in a reading mood for myself tonight, and for most of you, good morning, I believe. I just want to hear you say Todoroki in my reading voice. There you go, Todoroki. My goodness. I'm reading a lot of people who haven't had a good night's sleep. I do hope you do get some rest. It's May 7 hours behind or 15 hours ahead. I would assume I'm probably ahead. I have always joked that I do live in the future for most people, so I'm pretty sure that would be the case. How am I so good at drawing? Well, it took years. It took many years of practice, and I guess experimenting and learning along the way. That's the best I could say. Sleep will arrive soon, but now it's time for ASMR. I do not live in the UK. No, I do not live in Europe. I have already mentioned a few times in live streams actually, I'm Australian. Now, before I get a little sidetracked with conversation, I would like to, I felt like a bit of a read. Unfortunately, not in the sense of me actually creating videos kind of read. It's more of a live reading. I have done this 2 weeks ago, I believe, and it was just out of my phone because I don't know, I just felt that way. But I decided to set this up for myself here at my, I guess, computer station. And I'm happy to, as you can see on screen, read something for you, if it's not too much trouble. Oh goodness, thanks for being one of my favorite YouTubers. Oh, no, thank you for actually listening to my videos and my content. If anything, I have you guys to thank for doing the things that I really love doing. Thanks for your amazing audios. There's for a few people who are first in these live streams, welcome. I don't often do live streams, and as you can see, it's partly because I don't have the greatest internet where I live, but the best I can do is try to do a few more live readings. I feel like I've missed doing that, even though it was only the couple of times, I guess, when I first did it. And no one, please do not feel sorry if you are late, if you are early, whatnot. This was more of a whim. I really wish I can do more live streams as a scheduled thing, but I guess for now this is the best I can do. Have I heard of Aussie Ben ASMR? No, I have not. I haven't exactly done a lot of research on my end. I've actually been really busy doing some, I guess, real life work, but I just miss doing this. So the live stream's the best thing I can do, if not working on videos. I would love to hear you read again. It always calms me down when I hear you. It makes me happy. Thank you so much for that. The YouTube shorts you do are so good. Thank you. I guess in a way I was becoming more of a TikToker in that sense. I haven't done a lot of it lately, but that is of course time. Excuse my yawn. It is very late, but I do feel like I wanted to do a live stream myself. Do you have a favorite Angels of Death character? That would be Isaac Foster. Isaac Foster. But, yes. It's like, oh, I just saw that. Listening to your videos while I draw just makes me feel less lonely. Oh dearie. I'm glad that I do make you feel, I guess, less lonely in that way. So Aussie Ben's an Australian ASMR artist. Interesting. I may have to see if I look that up. Do I have a comfort character? I do have a few, actually. Shinso definitely being one of mine. Kirishima as well, if anyone was also thinking about it. Yawns are contagious. Yes, I do have another one coming. Excuse me. When I listen to your voice, it makes me so relaxed and calm, which is why I have been listening to your videos for the last 5 months. Wow. I mean, there's not a lot to listen through, but I'm glad you enjoy it. How you come to your ASMR ideas? Oh, I assume, what kind of ideas? What makes me think about them? I'm not sure. I am stuck in this little universe of mine, and I guess I hyperfixate quite often about it. Have you read the Vigilantes manga? Unfortunately, no, but I do know what's happening. It's really difficult for me to find manga nowadays. I guess it's partly because I am creating more content than I am actually consuming it. I do wish I could enjoy myself at some point. Which state are you from? I had admitted I was from New South Wales, and that's as far as I will say. But I digress. I think before I fall down this rabbit hole of questions, the reason why I decided to live stream now was because I felt like reading. And I know in my last live stream 2 weeks ago, I read, I guess you could say 2.5 things. For a lot of them, I read First Impressions, which was a Kirishima fanfic, Dinner for Two, which is a Villain Midoriya fanfic, and I gave a bit of a sneak peek into a Sero fanfic I was reading. Excuse me. That was a yawn. I apologize for that. Oh my goodness. To my current fave YouTuber. Thank you for helping me with my anxiety. This being here is calming my pre-graduation nerves today. Izzy, you did not have to, but thank you so much. I didn't... Excuse me. That was because of the yawn. But you didn't really need to. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Izzy. Thank you. You helped me get through school and endless lonely art school days and nights. Oh, you are truly special for filling the missing parts in my heart. Oh. What's your favorite ASMR video you've done so far? As in what I've done so far. Ooh. It's really interesting you say that. There's one that I'm still working on actually that will become my favorite, and it is Prom Night Lights 2nd edition. Except, granted that I've been working here in real life, I haven't finished recording the boys yet in that one, so hopefully that will be a thing I'll be able to finish. Yes, I do know Attack on Titan. You have a great vocabulary, it's soothing. Oh, thank you so much. Now, I actually do want to, I guess in a way, because of what... Izzy, if you are still in the chat and you haven't yet to leave the chat and the live stream, please respond by saying exactly what your favorite character is. If I have a fanfic of them, I may be reading them for you tonight. Otherwise, we shall see what I can find out for you all in this list here on screen. That's the reason why I've left it up here, as a choice in the matter. I did miss a question if I was going to do Haikyuu or Attack on Titan videos. I do have a Haikyuu video on the way. It's a very short one, but I hope to release that soon. Let's see. Which character has my favorite storyline? They all have a captivating storyline in my heart. I really am a person that can't play favorites. I actually feel for the characters as I write them, and they could be my favorite in the moment, but I just can't play favorites. Oh, okay, about who from Haikyuu. As you can see on screen, I think, I don't know if you can see my cursors running around, but, I do have one with the Karasuno first years. So that is, of course, Hinata, Kagayama, Yamaguchi, and Tsukishima. And I do hope to release that very soon. Do I plan on doing Isaac Foster audios? I wish I could, to be honest. Except I know that voicing him is going to be extremely difficult. Oh my... Yawns are very contagious. I'm very sorry for that. Now, let's see. I don't understand why I'm not seeing a lot of the chat now. And yes, hello for everyone who's just joined. It has been 25 minutes and yet I have yet to start a reading. I would gladly be able to read some of the things that I have listed here. When are you going to do another May I Ask video? I did have one actually in the works, except of course real life work has started for me 3 weeks ago and I have yet to finish it. So I will be definitely behind with my May I Ask videos. I will see if I can, I guess, create a handful of them, and then that way they'd be all released. One would hope. Would I make another Gojo video? I'd love to. I still want to make a Megumi one, and I'm still in the middle of writing a Sukuna one, actually, so I hope I can finish that. Except as you can see with me yawning. As much as I would love to read, I'm flat out exhausted. I know, and a lot of people will tell me to go to sleep, but I won't. Shinso is your... Oh, I just missed that, Izzy. Shinso is favorite. If you had seen my answer, Shinso is your favorite character currently. Oh, very interesting. Unfortunately, I haven't finished a Shinso one except for the Prom Nightlight 2nd edition. However, reading it live might give it away. I could still read it though. The next suggestion I would have for Shinso is that I did recently write a second generation piece which involves his son. So that's a thing. Are you gonna do a Demon Slayer video? Maybe? I never thought about Demon Slayer yet. There's a lot to cover, I guess. Or a lot of fandoms to cover. I may or may not. But I'm hoping to branch out a bit more, if that's a thing. As someone who has sleep problems, your voice helps me fall asleep. And I guess that's the way it works. And I hope I achieve that for everyone. Can you say when you usually like making live streams? I'd say it's spur of the moment. I would just decide that I want to do something, so I end up doing it. That is a problem, however. I should actually schedule these in future. It'll work a little better if it were. I'm glad I could finally make it to a live stream. Hello. Nice to meet you. Would I make another Hawks video? I do. Actually, I do have a Villain Hawks video. that I want to work on. I've actually finished a Villain Hawks fanfic, and which is meant for the Villain AU's timeline, so I do hope to get onto that. Oh. Excuse me. Second gen Shinso fan. Please read something about Shinso for her. For Izzy. For them. I love your future pro hero timelines. Oh. Who is your favorite from Class 1B? Mine is Rin. I'd still like Monoma from Class 1B. I don't know why. I kinda do. Anything that has to do with Shinso works for me. Oh. Well, maybe I should read that one I've just finished recently. Are you making more Fat Gum readings? I do want to, actually. Because there are a few things that tie his to other timelines. But it's a bit of a kerfuffle, I guess. Wait, Shinso as a son. Shinso has a son. He has a second generation son with the traveler that is Kitten, that we all know, I assume. It's funny how every time you yawn, I yawn. It is contagious. Don't do that, because I actually feel it right now. Oh, excuse me. Sending love from Melbourne. Oh, Melbourneian. Welcome. Favorite villain? Darby. And there's a few that love Monoma. Thank you. Sending all the love from Oregon in the US. Nice. It's very nice to meet you all. Okay. So, again, 30 minutes have passed and I've yet to read something, so let's have our choices. So 2 weeks ago, like I said, I've read First Impressions from Kirishima, Dinner for Two with Villain Midoriya, and a sneak peek to Sero, which is Good Fences Make Good Neighbors. Hello to everyone who has arrived. And people, oh, does Kiri have a son as well? Actually, he does, but he has a daughter too, so, Anyhow. So, I guess in a way to thank Izzy for your lovely charity, which I really didn't ask for, but thank you so much. If it were alright by you, I either read Shinso's section of Prom Night Lights as a, I guess, insight into the story, or I read Choice and Circumstance, a moment in the lives of Three Stooges, which actually focuses more on Shinso's son. His name is Satoshi. Please let me know if any of you would be keen on that. I really like this live stream at this moment. This really makes me calm, because most of the time I worry about something bad, but this makes me soothe my heart. Thank you. That actually is really sweet of you. Thank you so much. Oh, Izzy, you wanted to do it? Oh. It is actually really touching. I'm very humbled by that. Thank you. Yes, they deserve the reading. This is such a hard decision. Take your time with the decision. Why'd you start at 12 a.m? I know, but I wanted to. Don't worry, it's a Saturday for me. Sunday is Sunday tomorrow. Sunday's my day of rest, when you think about it. The second one. Alright. Hard decision. The first one. I would love to hear Prom Night Lights section. Please do the next gen. I'm here, coming in like a normal person. Oh dear. So some people do want prom nights, some people want the next gen. And for those who are curious, Ochako, just ask my pronouns. I go by she, her, I'm fine with those. Excuse me. We have almost the same timeline. Just read both? I can read both if you like. What about we do that? I think tonight will be more of a Shinso night tonight. So I will read Shinso's section of Prom Nightlight's second edition. I know it's a bit of a, I guess, giveaway, but this is a live reading. It's a dry read. And I have recorded myself reading it before, so that's made for the video that I hope to release in the near future. So how about we do that? Just asking, do you like candy? And if so, what's your fave? It's really hard. Not much of a candy person. I guess I used to be. I'm more of a Pocky kind of person, or a mochi kind of person. I kind of like that. Why are you reposting your videos? It's a I will say it's partly because it's just a refresh, and I guess I just want to be respectful for the fact that the readings for those that are being reposted were written by other writers and not myself. So reposting them to ensure that they are the ones that get the credit for everything is all that is the purpose of that, really, at the end of the day. Shinso moment, yes. You just made my morning so much better. Oh, I see, okay. So, shall we? I laughed when I heard Total Knockout. That was written by a very talented writer. You should go read their stuff. I think the link for that would be in the video, but their stuff's actually quite well written. So, if you don't mind, we shall go into Prom Nightlights, I believe. It does start with Kaminari though, as you can see. But we will end up going to Shinso. And for those who are aware, Prom Nightlights is broken up into, I guess, titles for the characters. It's time to go to Wattpad again. Thank you for everything. I just have wanted to say you have helped me through my depression. Oh, you're very welcome, really. Yesterday, sadly, my mind kept telling me I was a failure and I wasn't even doing anything. Oh no, that's terrible, don't. I just hope you feel better. Kaminari. Yes, Kaminari. Oh, I don't mean about depression, I'm sorry. No, it's okay, it's okay. Give us Shinso, oh my god. I'm switching to my computer real quick. Oh, please do hurry. Please do hurry. I will wait for Izzy to come back. Well, it does look like I am at least 20 to 30 seconds behind. Kaminari is a gem though. There are times I really love him. Although, I think for most people who have read my Wattpad about the next chapter of his story in the timeline, it's gonna get very angsty very quickly. Can you do Kirishima, please? As in reading for Kirishima or actually voicing as him? Please, elaborate what you'd prefer. I don't think I have any new Kirishima fanfics, and yes, 2 weeks ago I did read his First Impressions fanfic, which is something I still need to create a video for, actually. I'm listening on my phone while my computer loads. We love angst. She is staring into my soul. Don't ruin this for me. Wait a minute. Oh, is this about Kaminari? Don't worry, I'm not going to say any big things. I have released the fanfic on Wattpad if you'd like to see where it's going, but that's about it. How do you set Google Docs to dark mode? Actually, that's, here's a technical tip as well. I use Google Chrome, and there's an extension that turns it into dark mode, so you could have a look into that if you like. And hello to all the new people who have arrived. I'm glad you haven't. I'm just glad a lot of you are enjoying the content, even though I haven't really been uploading a lot lately. Again, like I said, real work is getting in the way. I do hope that I can, on the side of real work, just work on videos in the background and be able to release them. All in due time. Oh, don't worry, there's no angst. I don't want to bring angst tonight. I actually just wanted to read. Honestly, I want to make fan fiction, but I'm kind of conscious of the way I write. It takes practice. It takes a lot of practice. It took me a lot of practice to even come up with stories and grammar and punctuation and all of the, I guess, making up sentence, descriptive in a way. But even though then I'm still not a great writer, I just still enjoy the ride as I go along. Gonna listen to this in the background of me playing Minecraft. Funny. Not the neighbor, yes, the neighbor. I hope I'm not late for a reading, because your voice is beautiful to hear. You're not late at all. Actually, I was about to set up. I am here. I shall make 59 people my friends. Oh dear. I was on a live stream earlier this week and there was a war in the chat between two Bakugos and normal people. It was fun. Oh no, that is horrible. It might sound fun, but ooh. Only way to get better at fanfic is to write fanfic. Yes, exactly. Only way to get better at writing is to keep writing. Of course. What is my Wattpad? Well, it would be the same as all my other tags, which is maydayvoice, so you should be able to find it there. Okay, so if everyone is ready to go, I would like to read a bit of Shinso's Prom Nightlights. And hey, if this becomes, and if people still want to know, there is also Kaminari, Sero, and Ida included in this. I probably won't read all of them, but if there's enough, I guess, rapport, I guess, for me to read them, I might change my mind. So, let's start, shall we? Hitoshi Shinso, Soulmate, Prom Nightlights, 2nd edition. It was a long day at the Commission's office before you hopped out to make your way to your reunion. Given that you had only recently spoken to Bakugo and Kirishima due to their mission on Nabu Island, you smiled at the thought to see them dressed up for the night, rather than their disheveled, bandaged selves from whatever happened in the quiet town. The thought of the reports were fresh in your mind while you strolled towards the academy. Headshots of the suspect were included as well, seeing his smiling face in frame. Compared to most captives, he wasn't cocky, but it looked genuine despite the photo. Still, interrogations would commence in a few days, seeing that due process was required before any more information could be collated together. You spotted a few familiar faces in the street heading towards the school, most of them faces from other classes that you recognized, until a mop of purple hair caught your eye, loitering by the tall white gates. Hitoshi Shinso was dressed to the nines, prim and proper, but not in that dark purple suit. "Hey!" you called from afar, catching his eye before you reached him by the gates. "Were you waiting long?" "Not really," he answered dryly, stretching his limbs. "I was actually getting comfortable." "I'm just a little disappointed." you commented with a smirk, catching wind of Shinso's confused expression.
I was really hoping to see you in that suit again.
Oh, that suit, he murmured apathetically before he sniggered under his breath, walking up to you lazily before his nose hovered close to yours. Am I not good enough? You couldn't help but burst into a giggle with him being so close. An involuntary reaction, you were sure, but it gave him a smile, seeing you react the way you did, grabbing hold of your hand while his fingers entwined in yours.
Well, you've proven the suit doesn't make the man,
you quipped happily. You could feel his chuckle close to your ear before he slowly pulled away from you, taking you by the hand back into your academy once more. It felt surreal to walk through the paths again, recalling the times you've seen Shinso take laps around the dorms during off-hour training. Memories flooded back, watching the new generation of students walking past, whispering under their breaths. It didn't faze you though. You could hear every word they were thinking, smiling at their curious natures. Did I miss something? Asked Shinso beside you.
Not much.
You snarked through your giggles.
Just heard some good things about you.
Oh, really? You beamed a smile at him, gently caressing his hand with your thumb, while you tried to keep his eye on you.
Sounds like you're a role model for the underprivileged, but you also have a fan club.
News of such magnitude caused his shoulders to stiffen. You spotted it despite the flattering suit he wore, only making you chuckle deeper. The look in his eye was a multitude of emotions, ranging from confused, shocked, and utter disappointment. You continued to comfort his hand in yours, still walking past while spotting a group of students whispering, attempting to steal gazes at the both of you, making your way to Gym Gamma.
It's hard to ignore,
you concluded, still looking up at Shinso, who looked away, slightly embarrassed.
Want to know what they're saying?
No, he interrupted. I don't need any self-serving praise. I'm here to spend a night with the one person I trust the most. And work needs to be as far away as possible. You sighed in agreement. Work was becoming a little too close to home, having taken on the case with the assassin and the Tartarus prison break. The trip to Polis Massa Bay yielded very little results, despite witness accounts of a trio who fit some description to the members of the prison coup. There were no other sightings during that weekend. Night was on its approach, with the dark blues merging with the last dregs of sunset pinks in the sky. Ahead, you spotted the last of your alumni entering the auditorium, pulling gently on Shinso's arm to quicken your pace. You weren't exactly late by any means, but seeing that most invitees have already entered made it seem so. No need to rush, kitten, spoke Shinso, still allowing you to pull him by the arm.
Come on, we can't miss Ida's and Yaoyoruzu's welcoming speech,
you advised. Is that the highlight of your night?
No, but it'll make for great vocabulary building.
Shinso sighed at your rationale, but can only smile at your fervent need to join the others inside. It wasn't often either of you would surround yourself with many friends, whether it was work or just general bad timing. To him, he still couldn't fathom the idea of calling the others friends, but a slip of the tongue here and there had seeped into his own vocabulary, only caught by your ear. He took a deep breath before the both of you reached the doors to the auditorium, filled to the brim of all the students of their graduating year, now grown older and, hopefully, wiser.
Shall we?
You asked, while your arm wrapped around his. Shinso said nothing, only smiling at you before he took the lead inside the brightly lit auditorium, sprinkled with fairy lights. After taking your seats and enjoying the night's festivities, the both of you soon caught up with your former classmates, holding conversation and learning more on the gossip. You smiled at the sight of Bakugo and his now fiancée, recalling that weekend away, bumping into the both of them there and chuckling wryly at the awkwardness at the time. You soon noticed Shinso approach Bakugo and converse with him from afar, watching the irate blonde pull faces at him, most probably after a mild insult. You shook your head at how the two of them would still butt heads with one another until you felt something different in the air. Out of all the surface thoughts you could hear, you suddenly gained access to the conversation between Shinso and Bakugo, staring off at nothing while you sat at your table amongst the rest of its residents, still chatting away. It was difficult to ignore while you intently listened.
Nah, what about it, eyebags?
Spoke Bakugo while he took a sip of punch.
Congratulations,
simply replied Shinso, opening his hand out to the blonde. Bakugo stared at him with a furrowed brow. However, he took his hand, shaking it firmly.
It was nothing. So, how do you feel? What do you mean? Was the frustration worth it in the end? You were pretty mad on that lunch date,
reminded Shinso with a smirk.
It's because people like you and your weak-ass partner were getting in my way the whole time we were there,
complained Bakugo. You cringed at his comment. Bakugo was Bakugo, even though he had softened his edges over the years. Still, it didn't help his rude undertones every once in a while.
Hey, firstly, they're not weak. And secondly, you just had the worst case of bad luck,
explained Shinso with a slight harsh edge to his voice. Bakugo scoffed before downing the last of his punch, eyeing the crowd of guffawing alumni until they laid on his fiancée not too far away, laughing and chiding away with his friends at their table. Shinso caught that look on his face, that cocky smirk, obvious to see.
You worry too much sometimes,
he uttered nonchalantly.
What was that?
Snapped Bakugo.
You want to make a grandiose gesture, and I bet that you had to slow down when it all went down, right?
Bakugo sneered at Shinso's question, almost turning his lips into a pout, which caught Shinso's eye again.
So, you did take my advice. Shut it, eyebags,
snapped Bakugo once more, earning a chuckle from the sleep-deprived man, while he enjoyed his cup of punch.
You say one more goddamn word. Your secret is safe with me,
interrupted Shinso.
No one needs to know. And besides, Nobody would believe that you and I enjoyed that lunch date together anyway.
The sound of Bakugo's scoff echoed in your mind again, realizing that you had finally discovered, at least to some degree, what Shinso was insinuating back at Polis Massa Bay. The mere idea that Bakugo had the patience to go through, let alone listen to Shinso's advice, was astonishing. Perhaps there was a mutual respect between the two over the years since their first encounter back at UA. You felt proud, swelling almost inside with content that Shinso grew to become sociable in his own way. However, your eyes turned towards the duo across the hall, spotting Shinso's eye now on you, sipping his punch from the cup he held. Your shoulders stiffened at his gaze, turning your eyes away from him in slight embarrassment. No one had noticed your reactions at the table as of yet. However, Shinso's words in your head echoed loudly.
Enjoyed the show?
He asked in your head, feeling it lower between your shoulders, unsure how to react, until a hand calmly rested on your back. You turned up to find Shinso now by your side with a smirk on his face, as if he could feel every fiber in your being burn with mortification over your impromptu eavesdropping. The next thing you knew, he took you by the hand, leading you from the table and walking with you around the auditorium, circling the dance floor filled with already jovial fellow alumni.
We never did dance at our graduation, didn't we?
Asked Shinso, taking your mind from the earlier teasing nature he threw at you so suddenly.
No, I think we both agreed to stay out of it.
You answered, reminiscing the year graduation was underway, filled with already drunken students, enjoying the night from years of tutelage. Shinso hummed and thought while he clutched onto your arm, your hand in his, until the song slowly turned into a slower tempo, watching the swarm of alumni shift on the floor and the couples taking stage. Still standing outside the ring of the dance floor, Shinso turned to face you, guiding your hand onto his shoulder while he held onto you, soon swaying on the spot, irregardless of whoever was watching.
Hitoshi, we should be on the dance floor.
You spoke in your head, staring up into his tired yet smiling eyes.
It doesn't matter. We can dance wherever we want.
He replied back in your mind, his lopsided smile turning into a small grin. The both of you shared this moment together, swaying to and fro outside of everybody else to the tune of your own beat in each other's company. You melted into Shinso while you listened to the beat of his heart in his chest, slow and calm. Shinso only wrapped you in his arms, content to have you, and yet pondered further on many things. After conversing with Bakugo over the course of his life decisions, at least unexpectedly, Shinso thought more on the topic at hand. It felt just right for him to make plans, and he hoped you weren't eavesdropping this time, while his hands trailed up your back, holding you to him. And there you have it. Shinso's Prom Night Lights 2nd edition Soulmate. I do hope you enjoyed that one. That was very nice. It was a very nice read. I still enjoy Shinso. He is one of the few comfort characters that I have. Now, the question is, would people be interested in the 2nd gen? I know Izzy said why not do both, but I'm wondering, should I, shouldn't I? And hello to all the new people who have arrived during this stream. I was in the middle of reading, so unfortunately I wasn't paying attention to the chat. Everyone's saying yes to second gen. Everyone is saying yes to second gen. Okay. I may have to change some of the, I guess, music choices. So bear with me while I do that extremely quickly. Let's see. The chat is basically all friends now. I'm very happy and glad that you believe that. Like that was the case. I'm very glad and happy to hear that. Let's see, and I will use, which song would I use for this one? Thank you for, and you're very welcome. For everyone who has been saying that this live stream has been, I guess, a calming experience. Thank you very much. I appreciate all the kind words. I really do. I might use that one. Okay. So, let us jump into the next one, shall we? Could you give a shout out? My sister's right next to me. Her name is Breely. Oh, Breely. Hello. I always say hi. I think it depends on what you want to do because you are the one who has been reading. Yes, well that's true, but I would prefer to read something that I believe a consensus is made for whoever's interested. And that is of course for what is available to me right now. You are here again. Hello. Well, we do have a second gen reading that I'm going to go through. I've yet to have voices for these characters yet, so this will be very interesting for me. It's more of an experimentation to see how we go about this. Oh, you may have to leave again, Melody. Well, I hope you get a little bit of a taste of what the second gen read will be. So I will go about it. Izzy, that's Belle. Oh, of course, of course. Hello. Now I understand. Shinso and Aizawa would have been your favorite characters. Okay. Which actually does remind me, I did want to write an Aizawa Pro Hero timeline, but I will have to wait for that. Oh, you'll be shopping. That might take a few hours. I know. Well then, before I digress any further, I will go ahead with this second gen read. Shall we? We shall. Choice and Circumstance. A moment in the lives of three stooges.
Go ahead, talk to her already.
No way, man, you do it. Those hushed tones caught the ears of a lavender-haired boy, his stoic eyes staring blankly as two others stood by their desks, eyeing a blonde beauty by the windows of the classroom. The boys poked fun at one another, teasing each other to prompt their advances towards the girl out of earshot, yet the stoic one heard otherwise.
Kaminari is smoking hot. His loss if he doesn't make a move on her. She's going to be mine. I'll show him.
Satoshi Shinso's eyes narrowed a little at those surface thoughts, staring at the two students before him while he made his way towards them, tapping on their shoulders. Their snickers hitched in their throats upon spotting the stoic glare in his eyes, his deep purple gaze menacingly looking down at them with a silent brewing rage.
Oh, hey Shinso!
One of them piped nervously.
Did I interrupt anything?
Spoke Satoshi with a smooth voice.
Not at all,
replied the other.
We were thinking maybe if it isn't too much trouble, you're on your own,
instantly replied Satoshi.
But if I catch either of you near Kaminari, I would gladly tell you to go jump off a bridge.
A toothy white grin brimmed on Satoshi's lips, causing a cold shiver to run up the boys' spines. They immediately exited the classroom, deciding to spend the rest of the lunch hour elsewhere, while Satoshi continued on his way towards the blonde girl, placing a small bento box by her desk. She snapped out of her daydream reverie, spotting the box wrapped neatly in a cloth, colored yellow and black. Excuse me, I didn't want that. Let's continue.
Courtesy from Sho,
spoke Satoshi before he took his seat behind the blonde.
He made your favorite. Again.
The blonde's eyes brightened upon hearing those words before she quickly unwrapped her lunch, finding a small banquet packed neatly in the box. Deconstructed hamburgers.
Oh, Sho, I love you!
She exclaimed, thanking her meal before digging in. Okimi Kaminari indulged in every bite, savoring the taste of the lunch while she turned to Satoshi, cheeks filled with food.
Before you start, no, I am not relaying that message back,
spoke Satoshi in turn, earning a minor pout from Okimi.
Oh, pretty please?
She spoke with her mouth full.
Not with that face.
Okimi pouted angrily, yet playful in her manner, before returning to her bento box, scoffing down the food she delighted in so happily. Satoshi only stared, watching his friend indulge in the most mundane things while he fixed the collar of his middle school uniform. Nabu Middle School was a mediocre institution, one that Satoshi realized very early about his father's reputation in his day. He saw through the charade of a few of the teachers, listening to their thoughts, learning about their experiences with his father. He chuckled inwardly at their initial reactions. "Hey!" A muffled cry caught his ear, as did Okimi, while the both of them turned to stare outside the windows. Below the classroom was the view of the sports ground, along with the school's team of track athletes. Amongst them was a sprightly young man, decked in his sports uniform while he waved up towards the two, his grin wide. "Hope you had your lunch!" he called out again. Just a minor thought, it's really late at night, I can't really yell, so I apologize. We shall continue. Satoshi glanced at Okimi, watching her smile perk while she waved enthusiastically towards the man below, watching him join his team ahead.
"Thank you, Sho!"
yelled Okimi loudly. Satoshi recoiled from the shrill voice while he stared at the back of Sho Hunter, smiling widely at his teammates. He wondered how anyone could be so cheerful or energetic before his eyes glanced towards Okimi, her gaze starstruck at the man below.
Your fixation is showing,
He commented, taking Okimi's attention with a dumbstruck look.
Shut up!
Retaliated Okimi, while she poked into Satoshi's shoulder.
He's so sweet and gentlemanly, and he cooks the most delicious meals!
Glad to hear that your stomach is the way to your heart.
Okimi pouted again.
Well, I'm still his senior.
By a year.
Can't you give me one thing today?
That goes against my responsibilities as your conscience.
I see where Kenji gets his attitude from.
Don't blame me for your brother's good taste in people.
Okimi took a deep breath, huffing before she stared back out the windows, watching Sho run the track. She smiled happily at the sight, earning a quirked brow from Satoshi before he laid his legs atop his desk, hearing Okimi's thoughts in his head, her voice cooing and fawning over Sho in the distance. He rolled his eyes, soon hearing surface thoughts from nearby students in the classroom. Mostly mundane, everyday chatter. Mostly.
You reckon he's listening in right now?
Whispered a voice in his head.
He looks like he's bored,
Spoke another.
You can't tell with that face of his.
Satoshi made no effort to react to these voices and thoughts. Doing so would prove them correct, even if they were. His father's reputation preceded him at Nabu Middle School, but it didn't come with distrust from his fellow classmates. Okimi and Sho had been advocates for him throughout the school years, but that alone did not deter the consensus. Not many people trusted him. He exhaled heavily before he pulled out his earphones, listening to his music to drown the voices that still discriminated against him. There were moments that he thought he could easily brainwash the students to leave his vicinity, to get rid of their idle chatter, but he refused. You had taught him better than that. The lunch hour was at its end before students returned back to their seats, eager for the class to start. Okimi smiled happily to herself, confident about her stance on the topic at hand, while Satoshi languidly listened to the homeroom teacher, still with one earphone in his ear.
I'm well aware of the excitement in this room about your next phase in life,
started the teacher, fixing her glasses on her brow.
Today, you all will have to seriously consider where you would like to enroll into high school, and I'm sure many of you are very anxious for the choices available.
The uplifting cheer of students roared in the classroom. Okimi giggled to herself, ecstatic while her fingers sparked with shocks of electrical flare. She had waited for this day for forever in her mind. Her afternoons playing and training with her father had paid off, adapting quickly to the electrical surges that coursed through her body. She was ecstatic, for lack of a better word to describe this bubbling feeling. Meanwhile, Satoshi apathetically listened to the homeroom teacher while she quietened the classroom. High school choices were far and few in between, but being the son of 2 UA students came with the expectation to follow in their footsteps, despite their own pitfalls and hardships.
Now, class, I'm sure you know exactly what choices you have and surely have given it some thought, but it's still a serious choice to make,
continued the homeroom teacher.
This could determine your path from here on, so choose wisely.
Soon she handed around papers and pamphlets through the classroom, while excited students perused through the available choices at their disposal. Okimi needn't to. She already knew what she wanted.
Oh, can't wait. Next year is going to be the best.
She cheered, turning her gaze onto Satoshi, who still leaned into his chair.
Aren't you excited?
She looked into Satoshi's expression, finding it nonplussed and unconcerned. Her smile slowly faded, noticing that look on his face while he drifted in thought.
Hey, you okay, Koneko?
She asked.
Don't call me that.
He replied dryly. Okimi still stared at him, curious and concerned. She was familiar with his many moods, even if Satoshi was plain moody. Amongst the raucous chatter of the classroom, she turned her body towards him, straddling the chair while she leaned on its back, eyeing him still. Satoshi stared back, confused by Okimi's sudden interest in his demeanor. It was silent between them, but their minds were in sync.
Are you scared?
Asked Okimi.
Why would I be?
Responded Satoshi.
Well, your parents were from UA, just like Dad. It makes sense to feel that way.
I'm not scared. That tone took Okimi by surprise. That defensive, almost palpable, eerie nature of it reminded her how scary Satoshi could be. Yet she still insisted.
I'm nervous too.
She continued, catching the slight quirk on Satoshi's brow.
I'm excited to get myself into the nitty-gritty, but I'm also Chargebolt's daughter, his successor. That's something to be nervous about.
Satoshi contemplated Okimi's words, swallowing before his eyes glanced at all the excited faces of his peers in the classroom. The cheerfulness almost made him nauseous, more so of his own stance than the atmosphere itself. I just don't know if I live up to any expectations, he explained, catching Okimi's eye. What good would my quirk do?
Hey, we made a promise that we'd be heroes together,
quipped Okimi.
You did. I was unfortunate for you to link your pinky with mine.
I mean it. We're going to get in the hero course together, whether you like it or not,
insisted Okimi, her head rising from the back of her chair while she intensely stared into Satoshi's lazy ones.
We'll make it as part of the top 3, no matter which placement we get. I'm going to make sure of it.
Satoshi sighed inwardly at her enthusiasm. No surprise she inherited that optimism from her father.
Just give it a thought before you knock it, you know?
She continued.
I'd want my best friend to come with me to UA.
Satoshi eyed Okimi, finding that gentle and motherly look about her. Despite her hyperactive energy, Okimi had her quieter moments that were almost charming and more tolerable. Satoshi scoffed inwardly, projecting a small smile on his lips upon the thought.
Anyway, Sho and I are heading to the arcade after school. Want to join us?
And there was that hyperfixation.
No thanks. I'm not your third wheel,
stated Satoshi.
We're not a couple,
spoke Okimi, catching the ears of a few students next to her in confusion. Neither Okimi or Satoshi paid them any mind, still staring at each other in their own world. As per usual, Okimi and Sho decided to have the afternoon together, while Satoshi made his lonely walk back home, indulging in the sights of spring while text tagging with his father about dinner plans tonight. It was another late night at work. Typical, but understandable. Satoshi had grown to understand the changes in his family life, realizing the difficulties of becoming more of a carer than a child. he spotted the apartment block, the same one he was told his parents had lived in for forever. His lips tugged into a smile briefly before he entered the lobby, taking the elevator and finding his way to the front door. Entering the apartment, Satoshi quickly scanned his eyes across the clean, large living room, eyeing anything that could be misplaced during his time at school. He sighed, finding a photo frame missing from the counter, next to old photos of his parents, and a few of their family cat who had passed away a few years back. Memories littered the apartment, all with smiling faces, including his own. Dropping his school bag on the couch, Satoshi made his way towards the window seat, finding you sitting there, staring out into the city while holding onto a photo frame in your hands.
"I'm home, Mom,"
he introduced, spotting the photo in your hands. He inwardly sighed, finding a family portrait in its frame, candid in nature, of the day he was born.
"Mom?"
uttered Satoshi, kneeling by you to meet his eyes with yours. He watched your vacant state turn to him, your eyes lifeless for a moment until they met his violet ones.
Toshi.
You whispered, lifting your fingers weakly towards him before he took a hold of them, bringing them back onto your lap. Satoshi stared into your gaze, bringing himself into your mind and allowing the usual trip to visit you again. Satoshi took a breath, closing his eyes briefly until he sharply woke in a white room, the same room you've been trapped in for years. Despite its cold and clinical sight, it was always warm. It felt like home.
Welcome home, Satoshi.
Perked a voice from behind, finding you standing there.
I'm sorry to bother you. I just wanted to remember your birthday.
"That explains the photo,"
Satoshi said bluntly.
"It's not for a while now."
I know. It's just good to have a reminder, even if it is for a while now.
You turned to Satoshi, seeing him in his middle school outfit, slightly disheveled. Despite his age, he was at a height that was just as tall as Shinso when you first met him. You smiled, approaching him slowly, while noticing that aloof expression on his face.
Don't blame your father for another late night,
you explained, gaining his attention.
He works hard.
"You both did,"
replied Satoshi, his eyes growing sad at the sight of you still lively in your own mind. You grew curious at that look. You knew it well enough to notice his hesitation.
"Mom, am I going to turn out like you?"
You were taken aback by the question, your heart sinking in your chest. You wondered if something had happened at school, or if he had been hiding these emotions again. This condition of yours was out of your control. A side effect, a compromise for what had befallen everyone you knew years ago that you paid with your mind. Still, you smiled, knowing more than this state would allow.
No,
you simply replied, your hand cupping Satoshi's cheek.
You're stronger than me, than both your father and I. You'll do wonders with what you're capable of. I believed in your father, and I believe in you.
A small smile appeared on Satoshi's lips, lovingly staring back at you before he gave you a warm hug, his long arms wrapping around you.
"I won't ever let you down, Mom."
You returned his hug, embracing him tenderly while he engulfed you in his.
I know you won't,
you reassured.
You are your father's son.
A deep intake of breath caught Satoshi unawares when he returned back to kneeling by your lap, finding your fingers lightly grazing his cheek. You stared vacantly elsewhere, still in this so-called vegetative state. He gently placed your hands back on the photo frame, standing to his feet to start dinner before the jingle of keys caught his ear by the door. The slow creak revealed Shinso, slightly ragged in his suit, yet still as exhausted as ever. He exhaled before his eyes met Satoshi's, surprised to see him by the door.
Hey, Dad.
Bluntly welcomed Satoshi. Shinso hummed, more so grumbled back a response, while he removed his shoes, rubbing the back of his head in exhaustion.
Thought you weren't going to be back for a couple of hours,
continued Satoshi, still walking towards the kitchen. The apartment being open plan had always ensured everyone had eyes on each other, aside from the bedrooms. Satoshi learnt this was his parents' choice of living, but still didn't understand why. It was a way of life they shared.
Plans change,
responded Shinso while he removed his blazer, hanging it by the coat rack.
Besides, today was an important day for you, right?
Satoshi turned to his father, confused about his knowledge of the day, until he glanced towards you, still staring out of the window.
Don't blame your mother for sharing,
continued Shinso. A smile and a laugh escaped Satoshi's lips, curling into that grin filled with warmth. He should have guessed his parents worked in mysterious and loving ways.
Have you thought about it?
Asked Shinso, approaching the kitchen. Satoshi's smile faded, wondering how to express his concerns. However, knowing you, Shinso would have an idea of what he was going through. He took a breath, deep and slow, while he pulled out ingredients for dinner.
I have, and haven't,
admitted Satoshi, prepping the kitchen counter.
I mean, the entrance exams are flawed. You know that. What good am I going to be if I'm up against robots? Isn't Kaminari going to be with you?
Asked Shinso, curious.
Well, yeah,
reluctantly replied Satoshi.
But she's in a league of her own. She doesn't need me. Satoshi, do you want to be a hero?
The question, blunt and straightforward, took Satoshi by surprise. He hesitated, still filled with doubt to fill the expectations of two pro-heroes. His parents. Despite your condition, you've been honorably discharged, and Shinso, still working in the field, had risen from his hardships to become well respected. Yet the distrust and jeers from his peers at school painted a different picture.
It's okay if you don't,
continued Shinso.
We're not going to dictate or persuade you otherwise. What your mother and I wanted for you was to make your own decisions in your own life. That's what we did. We chose to be heroes.
Satoshi could hear the hurt in his father's voice, eyeing his mother by the window. Choice and circumstance was a lesson Satoshi knew well in his family.
I chose to be where I am because I wanted to know how it felt for you, Dad.
He admitted.
I mean, it's easier because you're my dad, but I now know what drove you and why. Same with Mom. That's why I question this quirk. How can I be a hero with it?
Shinso's mind clicked with an epiphany, finally understanding Satoshi's words. Despite the doubt in his voice, he wasn't doubting his choices. He was questioning and hypothesizing how to make his quirk useful. Shinso grinned lightly, catching Satoshi's eye, curious about his father's reaction.
You're just like your mother sometimes,
spoke Shinso, joining him by the kitchen counter while he rolled his sleeves.
I'd say you're the best of both of us. Sure, the entrance exam is flawed, but if your mother could find a way to garner points in the system to be in the hero course, then you can too.
You think Mr. Kirishima will be present at the exams? Asked Satoshi curiously while he watched his father prep the ingredients.
Every year,
replied Shinso.
And no, he won't give you a helping hand. Trust me on that.
Satoshi watched Shinso continue to make dinner, only for his thoughts to trail, wondering what to do. Despite Okimi's cheery reminder of that pinky promise, Satoshi felt humbled by the fact that someone like her would always have his back. He smiled to himself, confident now on his decision while he helped his father in the kitchen. I'm going to equal Kaminari, at least trail behind her, said Satoshi with that smile. I don't want her carrying me through the exams. I want to prove that your quirk can be useful on that field.
You mean your quirk?
Reiterated Shinso.
Both yours and Mom's,
corrected Satoshi.
I didn't expect any expectations to meet, but I do have something to prove.
Shinso smirked at his son's forwardness, swelling with pride for the decision Satoshi had made for himself, before he handed a bunch of carrots into Satoshi's hands.
Well, prove yourself to pull your weight in the kitchen. You've been moping to yourself and I'm already prepping the main course.
Satoshi cracked into a fit of laughter along with his father, grabbing hold of the carrots and making good work of them. Dinner was soon prepared while Satoshi led you to the small family table, enjoying the meal together. What was I writing here? I guess I'm meant to be you sat quietly, still aware of simple body needs, while Shinso and Satoshi still conversed about the potential entrance exams for UA. The both of them had always conversed with your presence, despite your state, able to understand and listen and be involved with the family. Satoshi smiled to himself again, garnering support from both Shinso and yourself about the choice he was going to make. UA was the goal, but changing the perspectives of others about his quirk was the dream, something his parents had proven in their lifetime, and now something he will do as well. He will have to deal with the circumstances along the way, he felt. And there you have it. You have met the Three Stooges of the second generation. I hope you enjoyed that. I do hope to actually do a proper recording of it and hopefully get a better voice range for both Satoshi and Sho, especially. Yes, I just noticed some of the recent chat. What was I writing here? The sentence structure didn't make sense, but I assume I would have... It must have like auto-corrected at some point with a word. But yes, welcome Satoshi, Sho, and Okimi. You ate, yeah. I think it was you ate quietly. I might change that now while I can. Where was it? You ate quietly, still aware of some simple body needs. That makes more sense. Thank you for that. It was an autocorrect kind of problem there. You should go to sleep now. I should. It is 1:35 in the morning. It has been an hour and a half of a live stream just reading 2 fanfics centering around Shinso. I do hope you all enjoyed. I also hope that I do write a bit more. There are a few that I'm very interested in getting to finish. One with Midoriya, one with Kirishima, with Kirishima and everybody else, but mostly with Kirishima, and another one with Fantasy Bakugo. And I know I've released 2 chapters, but it's not the 3rd chapter of it. It's kind of like a prequel, kind of contextual short story with Fantasy Bakugo that I really want to finish as well. So Traveler's, Amari, I just noticed that question. So Traveler's mind broken? I say yes. Yes and no. It's more that the mind is intact. So for Kitten, I guess in this sense, the mind is intact, which is why Satoshi can still connect with yourself as the mother of the relationship here. It's just that your body, unfortunately, cannot work with the mind anymore. In a way, I think for people who read the Villain AU, it's kind of similar to that, but with the Villain AU, it's more of a traumatic experience, which is why the way the act, I guess the way the behaviors differ so much between the two. But that's just to answer your question, Amari. The mind isn't broken. I guess it's just the body cannot cope with what the mind has anymore. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. Maybe, I'm not sure. Also, I will probably have to head to bed. I mean, I know I said it's Sunday tomorrow, but I just felt like reading, and now that I feel a little better, I can actually have a good night's sleep. But I just like to say thank you all for everyone who's joined. Oh dear, what was I saying? Ooh. I was gonna say good night to everyone who's joined, and for those who still wanted to have a quick chat, I will probably transition onto the ending screen for like 5 minutes. That just gives you enough time for you guys to, I guess, converse a little more if you like. I think this is just kind of a new format of live stream that I want to try and attempt and see how we go. But again, I do hope you enjoyed those 2 live readings. I hope to write a bit more so I have more content. Otherwise, perhaps the next live reading that I'll have might be another insight into Prom Nightlights again, whether it's Kaminari Sero or Ida. It could be The Rook, which is a Villain Hawks audio for the Villain AU series. I do have Villain Bakugo called Gladiator. There's also the angsty ones as well, but if angst is not what everyone wants, I can avoid that too. Either way, we will see how we go in the future. I'm still experimenting with this kind of thing, but I am so glad to see, I guess, everyone who would like to join for these kind of live, dry readings in a way. We shall see in the next live stream. If I can do this every week, I guess that might be a thing. Otherwise, it might be more of a monthly live stream. Who knows? We'll see how we go. Anyhow, everyone, for me, it's a good night. I guess for most of you, it'll be a good morning or a good day. Now I'm seeing all the comments come through. Like I said, I think the stream is 20 seconds late behind for me. But yes, I will leave the stream on for at least 5 minutes once I leave. That way everyone can round off everything in the chat, and soon the stream will end itself permanently. Thank you everyone for your good nights. I hope you all have a good day. Thank you for visiting. I hope to hear from you soon. Next we meet.